Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I am once again simulcasting on Rumble and Utizzle, and I hope this broadcast finds all of you well. And I hope you're having a great evening and getting ready to come out of this cold snap. Let's hope the 30s and low 40s will seem like Florida. It'll seem like a heat wave. Get something to look forward to. So anyway, folks, we are on a brink here. We're taking a look at the world and what is happening around us. Not only are we dealing with good and evil, we're dealing with sanity and insanity. Those are the choices before us. Civilization or a savage nation? Which way is it going to be? So anyway, folks, what I do, I play some videos while people come in and settle in and shake off the skin and rattle around in their bones. Get yourself a cold beer or a nice cup of coffee or an adult libation while I play some videos for everybody. And I do appreciate you joining me. And then we're going to do what? What are we going to do? Be like butter and get on the road.
Emily, the protesters who stormed that church have a legal problem, possibly?
Yeah, they have a big one. And if I were a federal prosecutor, I would charge them with interference of free exercise of religion, violations of the Civil Rights Act, violations of the FACE Act, which under Biden, peaceful protesters against abortion sitting down, 80-plus-year-olds were prosecuted under, obstruction of federal functions, disorderly conduct, federal trespass, hate crimes, conspiracy to the Civil Rights Act, assault, and if Don Lemon kept up his charade to a federal agent that he didn't know what was going on, then I would charge him, too, with lying to a federal agent. And then on the state level, I would charge unlawful assembly, disorderly conduct, trespassing, harassment, intimidation, and child endangerment. And here's the thing. If I were an employer there in that city, I would fire anyone, any of them that engaged in that shameful, unlawful, horrific, anti-Christian behavior. And if I were a parent there in that city, I would not let any of my children touch the children of those parents that you are seeing right there, if they have children. And I would make it clear it's because they are siding with and standing with child rapists and recidivist sodomizers and convicted murderers over and over again to the tune of 1,600 in that city alone that have been, you're welcome, removed. And if I were a tech founder, by the way, I would deplatform all of those individuals that you saw in the midst of their engaging in the felonious behavior I just outlined, filming everything so that they would not have a platform and they would not get their dopamine hits anymore. And the dopamine dries up. But here's the thing. As a Christian, my real inspiration comes from that one woman that you can see on the video that stood there the entire time praying over those vicious, unlawful, anti-Christian, horrific trespassers there. And I pray that their impact remains at zero and that hers covers the world.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
I think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things. I would say, treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he perceives as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Storm zone.
Folks, how y'all doing tonight? I am so glad you came to see me. I guess you're wondering about that thumbnail I got up. Crazy woman. I'll show you that in a minute. Everybody's putting up the lemon getting squeezed. I figured I'd put up something else that's happening in the country, indicative of one of the other problems we have among many. Hi, Tammy Younger. How you doing? Part of the Younger gang came to see me. Todd's here. Let me see. Nice to see you. Where's everybody? Sissy's here. Robin's here. Debbie's here. Rain's here. Cole, nice to see you. Beautiful cat. Nice to see you. Wayne's giving me a thumbs up. Thank you, Wayne. Remember to give me a thumbs up when you come in. It helps the video get around. Make sure it's the first thing you do. And go ahead and do it. And I'll be here when you get back. That includes anybody watching the video after the live stream. Miss Mendersu, nice to see you. Oh, good. You like the Millennia movie. That's great. I'm glad you had a good time. Hi, Kim. Nice to see you. Tammy's here. Let's see, Miss Mendersu, Tammy. All right. Nice to see everybody. Linda's here. All right. So, Elva's here. Who am I missing? Who's lurking? I found an old meme. I was telling you I was pining about a lot of my pictures getting what do they call it? Despoiled or whatever they call it. Corrupted. I can't get into a particular file. I have to take that somewhere. But anyway, they're starting to pop out. You know, I grabbed this one, sniped it off somebody who didn't have their files corrupted, but that one with Hillary in it would get you taken down on Facebook. Do you remember that when during the 2016 election? Couldn't do political memes for a certain period of time. But anyway, I found another copy of it, and I'm proud to put it up, especially when we're talking about Don Lemon and his piddling around in that church. He got arrested today, and so did another woman. I'll tell you what, that other lady that got arrested, what was her last name? Ford? I can't remember. I didn't get a clip of her when they showed up to arrest her. She did a whole TikTok video. I mean, the police are out there. It's, maybe 10 degrees out, 6:30 in the morning. And she's, oh, y'all are being aggressive, and this is unnecessary. You have too many cars in my cul-de-sac. And 2 or 3 agents is overdoing it. And you don't have a lawful warrant. You know, that same crap, you know. But anyway, she ended up getting arrested. She was the sole journalist, air quotes, at the Chauvin trial. Chauvin. And calls herself a journalist. I would want to ask her, do you all remember the reporting on the Derek Chauvin trial? Didn't you see the big reports on where the other camera angle showed his knee was not on the guy's neck? It was on his back. Did you see the reporting on the police force, their training and protocols told him to do that? Put his knee on the back. Did you hear the physician's report that Derek Chauvin did nothing to cause the expiration of George Kirby? Neither did I. I didn't see that reporting either. So, maybe she should stay in jail just as long as Derek Chauvin for her biased reporting on that matter. So his whole life in jail because of people doing a narrative. So Don Lemon, yeah, the left is upset. Be upset. Nobody cares. But this judge I got up here, this shows you what we're dealing with, the schism in our country. I put up, you be the judge. I was going to put on there, they call this a judge with a question mark. Can we function as a society with people like this judging us? My answer is no. Nobody would feel like they're getting a fair trial going up in front of somebody unless they were part of a radical wing of a rebellious entity. And this person, I saw this first and I said, I have to watch this video. Turns out I didn't have to. I found out a bunch of stuff about it. This is the first time I saw the face. Judge Rosie Speedlin Gonzalez arrested for unlawful restraint. Now, isn't that some, just, y'all are my witness. Just the other day, I said, plenty of judges get arrested. Plenty of judges get removed. We just never hear about it. Don't you remember me saying that? I've said it multiple times over the years that I was familiar with situations with judges and sheriffs where things just didn't quite work out. So here, this one is getting some media play. How does somebody like this end up being a judge? Let me find some particulars on this thing. I might have a video of her babbling. I don't know. She ordered somebody put in handcuffs. Here we go. Here's what I first pulled up on it. Bexar County Judge Rosie Speedlin Gonzalez was indicted and arrested. Kind of like Don Lemon on the 29th. San Antonio, Texas. Can you believe that Texas has somebody like that in a judgeship? Following our 2024 courtroom incident where she allegedly ordered a defense attorney to be handcuffed. Key details. Charges. She faces second-degree felony charge for unlawful restraint by a peace officer or judge and a Class A misdemeanor for official oppression. The incident, charges stem from a December 17th hearing. Wow. That just now getting indicted? December 17th, 2024. A hearing where the judge allegedly restricted the movements of defense attorney Elizabeth Russell without consent, interfering substantially with her liberty. These people are nuts, and they're ignorant. They don't know the law. The law is what they say it is. She was released shortly after posting a $40,000 bond. What happened between December 24th? Christmas Eve? Of course, that means nothing to these people. Legal and professional impact. Special prosecutor Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez recused his office from the case. Brian Cromines of Gilead County had been appointed as a special prosecutor to handle the prosecution. Do you think the DOJ had anything to do with that? Do you think this would be brought to light and anybody would be doing anything about it if Trump had lost the election? You'd be the judge. Current status. While Speedlyn Gonzalez remains on the payroll, her caseload has been distributed to other judges. I bet you people are thanking God Almighty about that. She is currently running for re-election in the upcoming March primary. Penalties. If convicted of the felony charge, she could face 2 to 20 years in state prison and a fine of up to $10,000. So, yeah, let's keep an eye on that, shall we? I saw a video, but she was babbling about her being repressed, and it was a plot against her because of her being whatever she is or thinks she is. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. You be the judge. Better us than her. I'll tell you that much. You know what? Last night, folks, I had a notion in my head and I didn't want to say anything. I said, nah, I'm going to be one of these clickbait bell ringers. Hi, Roland. Nice to see you. But I was going to say last night that a little birdie told me that we would be hearing from somebody, a blast from the past. And can y'all guess who I'm talking about? Darla, nice to see you. Can you all guess who I'm talking about? Oh, really, Todd? A cop doing the same thing, a female cop. Yeah, that's what. Hi, Sparky. That's what they're trying to do. Pappy, Two Bears, nice to see you. A blast from the past. I said, watch for this person to come out of the blue like a bolt of lightning, and it's going to rattle some cages. The Search, how you doing? Who am I talking about? And then I said, I better not do it because people will think I'm just trying to be sensational. I'll give you a few seconds to think about who I'm talking about. That a little birdie told me they were coming out and it would be imminent. And it would have sounded just like all the clickbaiters. I don't see any guesses. Somebody was going to come out and rattle some cages. But while you're thinking about that, and I'm not going to give this too much time, DOJ announces the release of 3 million pages of Epstein files, reportedly including 180,000 photos and 2,000 videos. You know, I saw Todd Blanche give his press conference. And, you know, all this is doing is going to give people access to Jeffrey Epstein's private, ghastly collection of commercial garbage, and it's revive it and spread it around. People like Epstein, he loved corrupting young minds. That's something they really enjoy it. They just love destroying innocence. Good guess, Mr. Kennedy. How you doing? Bongino, no. Farther back than that. General Flynn, that's a good try, but that's not it. Oh, she's putting up a multiple choice. Multiple choice. Sydney or Lynn Wood. I don't think we're going to hear from Lynn Wood very much. But anyway, so even from beyond the grave. Epstein is corrupting our culture and society, and that's what these creepos love to do. But I'll address that in a little bit. But anyway, Debbie picked one, and Tammy, one that Tammy put up. You're both right. Here she is. And the little birdie, I'm going to put out some more bird feed for that little birdie because they hit the nail right on the head. But anyway, a blast from the past. And Sidney Powell, why do we care? I was going to put in my title, Lemon Squeeze and Get Crackin'. I might change my title to that verbiage there. Get cracking. So anyway, here's Sidney Powell, and she is going to be involved. And she is, with Jack. And she is an authorized prosecutor for the Department of War. I almost said Department of Defense out of habit. And as such, she's empowered to impanel grand juries, I believe. Am I right or am I wrong? So anyway, let's listen to every word she has to say.
Let me ask you about the state of Georgia. Obviously, yesterday, the governor there, he certified the election for Joe Biden. It's about 12,000 votes. And what you see, will Georgia switch?
Yeah, that's a total farce. Georgia's probably going to be the first state I'm going to blow up, and Mr. Kemp and the Secretary of State need to go with it because they're in on the Dominion scam with their last-minute purchase or award of a contract to Dominion of $100 million. The State Bureau of Investigation for Georgia ought to be looking into the financial benefits received by Mr. Kemp and the Secretary of State's family about that time. And another benefit Dominion was created to award is what I would call election insurance. That's why Hugo Chavez had it created in the first place. But I also wonder where he got the technology, where it actually came from, because I think it's hammer and scorecard from the CIA.
Just to clarify, you're saying that Governor Kemp, who's been a longtime ally of the president, is directly involved because of financial benefit in the conspiracy to defeat the president in Georgia?
We have certainly been told that there is evidence of that, and it would warrant an investigation if anybody were actually going to do an honest investigation.
What more could you tell us about that alleged conspiracy? Is the governor's involvement?
I can't give you any more details on that now, but it would certainly warrant an investigation. If it had been reported to me as a law enforcement officer, I would be investigating it steadfastly.
I know you say you want to do your arguing in court. You are an attorney. You're not a press secretary, but you all did have a press conference last week. Jordan Sekelo said that there's going to be a filing soon in Georgia that would be explosive. Can you tell us anything? Can you make some news with us here tonight? Tell us anything new that you're going to present in that filing in Georgia.
Well, I can't say that yet, but hopefully this week we will get it ready to file.
Sidney,
it will.
Okay, so look for something to be filed in Georgia. And Sidney Powell is involved, and I wouldn't be surprised if the warrant, the search warrant that obtained all the ballots and information was generated by her office. She's not going to, of course, not going to tell us any details that'll spill any beans, but things are going to get cracking, right? Remember that? What does she call hammer and scorecard? Remember that stuff, people? Okay, and I think it's going to lead to at least one country we're dealing with right now. We know it's going to be multiple countries, but Venezuela and Maduro's removal was not solely because of the drug running. I'll put it that way. His removal was for overthrowing the sovereign, which is an act of war, or attempting to overthrow the sovereign. So anyway, watch Huber and sealed indictments out of Utah, right? So, if people think that stuff's not happening, they're wrong. They're wrong. I'm going to get that thing off the screen. It makes me nauseous. I think I had another article on that person. Let me see. If I come across it, I'll read it. I'll put it up. But anyway, so yeah, I have another thing about Lemon. He got bonded out. And you all, look at these people's heroes. For God's sake, these people, I don't know what else you can call them. But remember that Rachel Madcow, I played the video where she said, it's been proven if you can get 3.5% of the people of a country out raising hell, you can change the government. So they want to make it seem like their majority, that they have the power to judge us. And people wilt. Now, we're not going to wilt. But man, look at their heroes. Here, Luigi Mangione, right? A federal judge in New York said Luigi won't face the death penalty. Why not? You know my opinion, folks, that he'd already, if it's proven beyond a reasonable doubt that he walked up behind another person and murdered him without warning, a cowardly assassination, that he should already be finished, like Timothy McVeigh. So I don't know what the reasoning is. I don't know which judge it is. But they arrested a guy for trying to break Luigi out of jail, like he's a hero. And they're out. The same creeps that are protesting against ICE are dressing up like Nintendo Luigi and calling him a hero. They probably don't even know the name of the person he murdered. These people are dangerous. Dangerous. So anyway, I'm just looking at the chats. Well, I'm on pins and needles too. Yeah, it's an eyesore, yeah. Oh, so many eyesores. But anyway, what I was talking about in the chats, Cuba has 15 to 20 days of oil left as Donald Trump turns the screws. Here's another so-called country. All right, an illegitimate junta, military junta, that's been enslaving the people for over 50 years. According to data on maritime transport, Cuba has only 15 to 20 days of oil reserves left, reports the Financial Times. Cuba stopped receiving oil after the seizure of American tankers. They got that wrong, of tankers by Americans, okay? From Venezuela. So, I had that a couple of days ago. So they're down to about 2 weeks. Well, what came out today? ABC News. President Trump announced Thursday a plan to oppose additional tariffs on countries that provide oil to Cuba. Here he is. Donald Trump does what he says, right? Means what he says and does what he says. Declaring a national security emergency regarding the island nation. Well, who's going to argue with that? People that have no idea when the Cuban Missile Crisis was, when the world almost went to nuclear war. Just before President Kennedy was assassinated. They had nuclear warheads 90 miles off our coast. So yeah, I would say they're a security threat. They've been a security threat. Not anymore. In an executive order, Trump said the policies, practices, and actions of the government of Cuba constitute an extraordinary threat with regard to national security and foreign policy. So, as we know, national emergencies give the president quite a bit of power. Enhanced powers. So, now they don't have a winter time to deal with, of course. So, but 2 weeks of oil is going to affect you wintertime or no wintertime. Why flatten Cuba? I don't know what you mean. Hi, Google account. How you doing? We want that regime out of there. It's a criminal regime. It's a criminal regime. As a matter of fact, the whole Bolshevik revolution in the Soviet Union was a criminal outfit anyway. Run by criminals. Rachel Maddow was right. You know, you arm 3.5% and cow the rest. You can take over. I have no idea, Search. Hadn't seen him posting much. So anyway, here's another. Donald Trump accused the Cuban government of cooperating with Russia, China, and terrorist organizations against the United States. According to Trump, the largest overseas electronic intelligence center and a Chinese military base are located in Cuba. You don't say. You don't say. Any that were tied into election and then machines? I would say that's a good chance of that. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Of course, we've always been concerned about them launching attacks on us from there. And I say, if Ronald Reagan had his way, they would have been done a long time ago. Well, you know, we have a partial shutdown. We're in a partial shutdown right now. Till Monday, they say. And Trump apparently has put a deal together that they're going to pass that he is happy about. I'm not sure of that, what the terms are of that. But let's see. Breaking: Senate Republicans and Democrats sent a reworked government spending package to the House on Friday evening after President Trump struck a deal to sate Democrats' demands. I don't know the details of it. How can you sate a rabid animal? Senate passes federal funding compromise as Democrats score victory in Department of Homeland Security revolt. Oh, that's right, Debbie. Yeah, think Maduro. And also the machines, right? Hammer and scorecard. Funny how these things all happen at the same time. So we will see what happens with that. I don't think they're gonna compromise too much on getting people out of here that don't belong in here. Oh, here's the other articles I had on that thing out of Texas. That so-called judge. Stuff she did in the past. KSAT, okay.com. KSAT investigates. Oversight on my part. Judge Speedlin Gonzalez found with a loaded gun. This was back in September of 2022. At a San Antonio International Airport. Judge said she was attempting to catch an early flight to Miami. Forgot she had the gun in her carry-on bag. Can you believe that? No, she didn't forget. She said, I'm Judge Speedlin Gonzalez, damn it. I can do what I want. And she found out different. I think that's more the case. But anyway, it's going to go against her. And here's something else. She had a complaint against her before the State Commission of Judicial Conduct. Where's a date on this? The Honorable. Man. But anyway, she was posting, this was back in February of 2020. They had a review of allegations where she was posting on Facebook a bunch of internal crap and her opinions of attorneys involved in cases that were before her. Well, she's not sitting there. She's not sitting now. She's been removed because she's been charged with felonies. They can give her prison time of up to 20 years, 2 to 20 years. But anyway, since I put it up, I had it in here. I want to get it out of the way. So anyway, something's going to happen with Cuba. And at the same time, we got a partial government shutdown. We got the temperature turning up on Cuba. And we've got more assets, air quotes, going to the Gulf. And sometimes they say an attack is imminent. Sometimes they post that Trump is waiting for diplomatic moves. We shall see. But this was an interesting post. Washington, in cooperation with the United Kingdom, France, Israel, and 4 Arab countries, has prepared a list of targets for a strike on Iran. Isn't that interesting? So there's an agreement of I'll call it a target package. So, what unnerves me about that, with all those people involved, somebody's going to forewarn them. But you know what? Trump is going to do what he wants to do, what's in America's best interest. But that at least shows that there is international cooperation with putting a thump upside Iran's head, and we'll see how big of a thump it will be. Let me get some of this UN stuff out of the way. What's going to happen with this? Events colliding is what I call it. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warns the UN is facing a severe financial collapse. The United Nations is going to financially collapse. Cash flow will last until the upcoming July. There are outstanding commitments of about $1.5 billion. Countries are not paying the money they committed to transfer. In the background of these matters is the U.S. withdrawal from many UN bodies. Yeah, a bunch of scam outfits we're not paying money into anymore. Stopping of funding promoted by the Trump administration. Yes, goodbye. The U.S. is responsible for 22% of the UN core budget. So you want to keep on supporting Zelensky. Well, you got to pony up more money for the UN and NATO. The acting president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, signed a law allowing for the privatization of the country's oil sector, namely taking it out of state communist control. But now this is a Russian news service, so they don't like that, which opens the way for the U.S. to fully seize the national oil industry. Not really, if it's privatized, which is exactly what Trump was aiming for. Whatever you say, Ruski, we're going to get our stolen oil and stolen equipment back. The Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, Ali Larijani, who arrived in Moscow late yesterday evening, met with Vladimir Putin today. Okay? What's Putin going to tell him? They're coming to Putin and trying to get him to intervene against Trump. How far do you think that's going to go? Let me show you how much things are changing over in the Middle East. Oh, this is I'll get to this in a second. This is about Zelensky. I'll get to these in a second. But something big happened with the Kurds, which is what Lindsey Graham was hollering about. Over the years, how many times you heard everybody, save the Kurds, save the Kurds. We can't back out on the Kurds. And by the way, Lindsey Graham was a key person to end his resistance with the budget deal, okay? He was resisting the budget deal. One of the Republicans that was causing trouble. Maybe this helped appease Lindsey Graham to some degree. But anyway, the Syrian government has reached an agreement with the Kurds, whose positions Damascus recently attacked in the north of the country. This was reported by the BBC. People were saying that the Kurds were getting ready to get wiped out. That's what they always say. And we got to send troops. We got to do this. We got to do that. Well, according to the publication, the rights of the Kurds have been recognized, and their units will join the Syrian army. Who do you think has something to do with that? First time in decades. The agreement was facilitated by the U.S. Washington's ambassador to Turkey and special envoy for Syria, Tom Barrack, called the agreement a fundamental and historic milestone on Syria's path to national reconciliation, unity, and sustainable stability. The agreement was preceded by weeks of fighting. Syrian forces managed to recapture vast areas in the northeast of the country, which had been under the control of the Syrian Democratic Forces for more than 10 years. That's huge. Without getting into the whole dynamics and history, that has put an end to a bit of strife that has caused problems with Turkey, Syria, Iran, Russia. France has previously released a previously captured tanker of the Shadow Fleet. Remember that about a week ago? France was got a tanker they claimed was from Russia under another flag. And I said they were trying to start trouble, which they always are, which had been pompously seized in the Mediterranean Sea a few days ago. As it, quote, turned out, unquote, the seizure of the tanker was illegal, not only under the now defunct international law, but also under French legislation. Therefore, the tanker had to be released, and Macron once again backed down weakly. He will get a slap in the face from Panin again, talking about his erstwhile, air quotes, wife. So anyway, here's what's going on with Ruski land and Ukraine. They call him the cocaine Fuhrer. They call Zelensky that. If Russia stops its strikes on Ukraine's energy infrastructure, Ukraine will not strike Russia's energy sector, said Zelensky. In addition, he added that there was no direct dialogue and direct agreements on ceasing strikes on energy facilities between U.S. and Russia. Between us and Russia, I'm sorry. Well, Trump said that that Putin agreed to not hit any energy targets with the rough winter. So anyway, other statements by the drug lord. The peace plan should be signed by the presidents. No one informed me about what was discussed in Anchorage, but we have signals they discussed key issues there. I'm ready for any format of a leaders' summit, but not in Moscow or Belarus. Technically, we will be ready to join the EU in 2027. The new meeting between Ukraine and Russia may be postponed due to the situation around Iran. And that's the main reason why I put this little report in. They are close to a deal, but they're not doing anything until something is settled with Iran. Either Iran capitulates to what Trump is saying, sign the deal, which we don't know what the parameters of the deal are, but it does have to do with the mullahs going away, or military action. One of those two things have to happen. So anyway, high temperature with Iran. They sent more missile interceptors from the states over to the Persian Gulf. Iran nuke deal? Yeah, well, I think it's, the Iran nuke deal. I think Trump wants them out of there. We shall see. Anyway, here's another, here's the way it was left as far as Russian reporting goes. A huge fleet is heading to Iran, which is larger than the one sent to Venezuela, Trump stated. If we don't reach an agreement, we'll see what happens, he added. Recall that Iran had already rejected the U.S. demands regarding its nuclear and ballistic programs. So anyway, that is the latest on that. Could something happen this weekend? I don't know. What else is coming up? What's coming up on the 1st, folks? What's coming up on the 1st? Trump is cutting off payments to sanctuary cities, and also, here we go again, SNAP work requirements set to go into effect February 1st. This is ABC News. With millions at risk of losing benefits. What, if you got to go do something for 20 hours a week, you're not going to lose your benefits? We're in a partial shutdown right now, sissy. Yeah, a partial shutdown. And also Trump is going to suspend payments to sanctuary cities, which happen to be blue states. And, yeah, Google counts you right. Cities involved with fraud. With that open and notorious fraud. So, well, we'll see which judge steps into that. I'm sure that one I had on the screen earlier would be happy if they could to step in. But they can't. Ha, ha, ha. Anyway, here's Zoran Mamdani. This was New York Post put this up earlier in the week. Reds in the red. City faces $12 billion deficit even before Zoe's mad plans. Here he is. I got a video of him where he's telling everybody, we're going to raise your taxes. Let me see. When I come across it, I'll put it up. But, yeah, he's out now tells them. Hi, Gary. How you doing? Let me get Zoran off there. I can't read the chats when there's weird colors up there. I'm sure, Miss Mendersue, they're holding it up there. They're putting thousands of drones, claiming that they were going to hit America like it's never been hit before, and all this kind of talk. So, yeah, back with precious metals. What's silver at now? It was at $120. I forgot to mention that last night. $120. When I started doing broadcasting, silver was at $14. $14. It's at $120 right now. So anyway, this Don Lemon, I played a video at the beginning of the video before my intro video. Oh, here's what Liberal Hive Mind put up for meme of the day. Meme of the day. Zoran Mamdani voters trying to understand that taxes pay for free stuff. A confused unga bunga. Remember that unga bunga binga bunga? What was that, Looney Tunes? So anyway, Don Lemon has been charged and let out the same day. Jane Fonda came out running her jaws. I couldn't believe it. Of course, many of us couldn't believe that she didn't go to jail back in the 60s and 70s during the Vietnam War, when she traitorously sided with Ho Chi Minh and all that crap. Oh, really, sissy? Gold went down $600? Oh, Randy Silver got smacked down? Wow. Some people making some moves, huh? So what is gold at now? anyway, here I played. I watched her. I don't know how much this video has of her babbling about journalists and all that. I tell you what, James O'Keefe, was James O'Keefe? Yeah. He put up some TikToks about, you all didn't give a damn when my offices got raided. And you all remember somebody else is going to pop up. Catherine Herridge. Remember her? Nobody said a damn word when she got fired from CBS, and they seized all of her records and locked her office and would not let her in. And when a judge fined her thousands of dollars a day because she would not disclose her sources, nobody said anything about that. But anyway, this video I uploaded from Citizen Free Press. It says a heckler got after her, and I didn't get to watch it, so we'll watch it together now for the first time. This is Hanoi Jane.
Take questions if we can do it in an orderly manner. So right now, this gentleman's asking a question.
The federal election, this wasn't peaceful. The parents were blocked from their children. People were not allowed to exit the church. Some people thought it was the church.
That's why we need journalists to cover this.
This is why we need independent journalists who will tell us the truth about what happens. We have learned from experience that this administration lies in order to...
You respond to Donald Trump and civilians getting murdered. Why is civilians getting murdered under this administration? Donald Trump attacked churches and hospitals.
Well, what I gather from that, they create a Frankenstein monster. That wasn't somebody that was sticking up for the church. It was somebody yelling at her about, why aren't you tougher about the ICE agents and all this kind of crap. They've created a damn monster. You can't satisfy an insane, savage animal. You can't reason with animals, and they're going to tear each other apart. But here's some of the stuff people were putting up about Don Lemon that he's going to have to defend in court. I got one of the charges, or one of the, I'll put it up a minute and read it to you. But anyway, a protester says this is a white supremacist agenda.
What's that going to mean?
This is a white supremacist agenda.
Why do you say that?
Fuck off.
No, me, dude. I'm not here.
Whose team are you on?
Come on, man.
Don Lemon.
This is Don Lemon.
All right, man.
All right. Well, no.
Sorry, brother. I'm so sorry.
Like, really? No, I'm so sorry.
On our team.
Yeah. So why do you say?
These people are crazy. So it's a white guy saying this is a white supremacist agenda, and then we see it's Don Lemon. He says, "Oh, okay, brother." They just holler to holler. What's this one here? State of New Jersey to set up ICE tracking portal. New governor Mickey Sherrill explains. Why do we have to pass new legislation when we have legislation that says if you harbor illegal aliens, you committed a felony? How are we letting these governors get away, and these legislators getting away with passing legislation that allows them to harbor people that are in this country unlawfully? Here, let her explain. And that's, the military is the only way, really.
I've already met with AG. We are putting out information on helping New Jerseyans know their rights. We are not going to allow any ICE raids to be staged from state properties. And we are also going to be standing up a portal so people can upload all their cell phone videos and alert people. Like if you see an ICE agent in the street, get your phone out.
Yes.
We want to know. Because they have not been forthcoming. They will pick people up. They will not tell us who they are.
Right.
They will not tell us if they're here legally. They won't check. They'll pick up American citizens. They picked up a 5-year-old child. We want documentation, and we are going to make sure we get it.
Great.
Well, that's okay. You're putting yourself on the line because I believe there's going to be an operation to arrest these people that are interfering. I didn't realize time was going by. Let me tell you about this. I'm sure you all heard about this bunch that got hacked called the ICE Tracker app. Data Republican. Stop ICE. That's what it was called. Stop ICE. Your information was hacked. Yes. Your locations were being stored because you signed up to receive alerts when ICE was in your area. Yes, your plain text passwords were deciphered. The hackers haven't released this to the public, but a lot of federal agencies now have this information. You will know by next week we are not lying. My personal opinion on this is that they already had that information. But you have a private group. Get inside and give it to federal authorities. That removes any claims that the military was operating illegally or that people were acting without warrants or anything like that. In matters of national security, they can go into anybody's anything, okay? States, doctrine of state secrets, all that stuff kicks in. But if you have a private group saying, we're the ones that got all this information and we gave it to the federal government, it's a lot easier for the American people to swallow. But I believe that they probably had a FISA warrant, okay, a quiet judicial warrant having to do with national security and already got into that ICE tracker thing. Because FISA works both ways. Remember that, folks. So anyway, it's all right with me if that's the way they want to play it. So they can all sweat now. They can all sweat. All 100,000 of them I heard. Isn't that what you all heard? 100,000 of them are sweating bullets. And don't forget, I want to play this because in this clip, Don Lemon, let's see, Citizen Free Press put out a pretty much a summary of what he was saying. Is this it? Don Lemon posted this before the church storming operation. They're planning an operation that we're going to follow them on. But I can't tell you exactly what they're doing, but it's called Operation Pull Up. You know, that's street slang, okay? Gang slang. Same as roll up. We're going to pull up on somebody. And that means take somebody by surprise, confront them, jump them. It has a negative connotations. So after we do this operation, you'll see it live. These operations are surprise operations. Again, I can't tell you where. He is going to regret saying the pronoun we. Pronoun use might lead to his conviction. So I played this the other day. Well, we'll play it again. But is he conspiring with them? Is he giving advice, helping promote the execution of this operation?
Into Minneapolis a little bit ago and did some reconnaissance on the ground, speaking to an organization there that's gearing up for resistance and protest. I've been pleasantly surprised to see the community coming together. Diverse community. If you see this, when we first pulled up, we're like, wait a minute, which operation are we at? And as it turns out, because we're like, well, this is kind of MAGA coded, right? Saw the American flag or whatever, but these are resistance protesters. They're planning an operation that we're going to follow them on. I can't tell you exactly what they're doing, but it's called Operation Pull Up, and it's Takima Armstrong, and she has been doing this since George Floyd, Dante Wright, and others, where they surprise people, catch them off guard, and hold them to account. And so that's what we're doing here. And then after we do this operation, you'll see it live. And these operations are surprise operations. Again, I can't tell you.
Okay. Let me show you something else that Citizen Free Press put up. Are we going to see video of this? And I'm not sure where they got it from. Let me put this up. It's a charging document. Here it is. Overt Act number 16. So he had at least 17 overt acts. So that's an interesting number, isn't it? While inside the church, Defendant Lundy stood with other agitators in and around the main aisles in the church to intimidate the church members and obstruct and interfere with their freedom of movement. Defendant Lemon approached an elderly woman, shoved a phone into her face, and yelled, "You got lemoned, old bat. You got lemoned, old bat." Are we going to see footage of that? If they got his phone and he's still got it in his phone, we will. Defendant Lemon then located a broom in the janitorial closet. This sounds pretty wild. And put it between his legs and started prancing up and down the aisles, singing, "You got lemoned, you got lemoned, 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 you got lemoned," before eventually tripping and taking a header into the baptismal. Defendant Lemon emerged and appeared to be crying and pointing at victim 7 and saying, and yelled, "She pushed me." He needs to do at least 3 or 4 years, 5 years in jail, because this is a big gamble, folks. His own words were, "I'm a black gay man." And when he saw those kids, he said they were going to get traumatized. His own words. So we're living in a society where it's okay for a black gay man to go barge into a church and traumatize children. His own words. I could add words to that. Somebody that practices abominations in the eyes of God, a hedonist, can claim he's welcome in a church, that he has a right to be there because he claims he's a journalist, that we can sit in church and it can happen anytime. If he doesn't get convicted and serve time in jail, that's the kind of life we're going to be living. Our children, too. That should be an enhanced charge. Here is that POS. I hadn't listened to it yet. I just rolled my eyes and uploaded it. I figure, well, I'll hear it when I play the broadcast. Because he makes me sick. He makes me sick. And let's hear what the weird, Nick Sortor put out, I'll put up his posts. He said he let people know hours ahead of time he was going to give a little speech, and he couldn't get a handful of people to show up.
I will not stop now. In fact, there is no more important time than right now, this very moment, for a free and independent media that shines a light on the truth and holds those in power accountable. Again, I will not stop now. I will not stop ever. Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for something that I've been doing for the last 30 years, and that is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists who do what I do. I stand with all of them, and I will not be silenced. I look forward to my day.
I look forward to your years in jail, you BASTRD. So, they wanted some violence to happen. They were asking for it. They were asking for somebody to grab them and throw them down, do something to them. But let me tell you, it doesn't matter that it was a white church. My thoughts are that the vast majority of all churches, black churches, white churches, mosques, synagogues, anybody that goes to the house of worship, the vast majority of the people are watching this and saying the same thing I said. You bet, BASTRAD. And people aren't going to put up with it. They're not going to put up with people coming into a place that's you're supposed to be at peace. You're supposed to be safe. You're supposed to practice your spirituality and not be accosted. So, but the media is making it seem as if they have the upper hand, that they have the right to judge us, and they are way off. They're wrong. Is this Nick Sortor? Yeah, here he is. Here he is. He put this up. Just in, Don Lemon, looking like an aging lesbian grandma, speaks to a crowd of, quote, supporters you could count on one hand. Dude announced his presser hours in advance and still practically nobody showed up. That's freaking embarrassing. Yeah, but when they play it on CNN, they make it seem like he's got all these supporters around him. They skew the news. We know that. We've always known that. Trump put up a long video that I didn't upload because I played a lot of long videos from Trump last night. It's this Finnerty guy. I'm going to play one that Trump put up. But his point was that they have painted us as deplorables, as a minority, as something to be ashamed of, when it's far from the truth. Trump said there is a silent majority. This narrative that they are on top, they are a larger group than we are, that we're a bunch of outcasts, is completely backwards. So this is what do y'all think of this? I don't like this guy, PBD, Patrick Bet-Davis. I don't care for him. Someday I'll tell you all about him and why I don't. But he gets interviews. He started out, he's nothing more than a damn smut merchant in my book. But anyway, Michael Cohen, the guy who stabbed Trump in the back. What do you think is going to come of this, if anything at all?
My hope My hope is that the president is actually listening to this podcast, turns around and says, you know what? Yeah, I missed the guy too. Give me a call. He still has my cell number. It actually was once, a Trump number.
You know,
right?
he's the type of guy that would call.
And I would take it.
Have you tried?
And I would take it.
Have you tried calling him?
I can't do that.
Why?
It can't.
Why?
Because maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Can I tell you why? So,
I'm not 100% certain I know what I would even say at this point.
I think neither one of you guys. It's just going to be the conversation. You'll know within the first 2 seconds.
You're probably
how that
right
call
about
goes.
that.
You don't know until you make the call. But to me,
you know what I was also.
He's not allowed to call Trump. He's a witness. I think the only thing you're going to hear from is the FBI or JAG, Cohen. But nice try. I can't see, you never know. Stranger things have happened. He's on the record of being so viscerally against Trump. What's he got? What? He better watch out. He better tell people that he is not, genocidal. That's what I think. If he's talking this strongly about working with Trump. Oh, let me see here. What's it? Oh, it's Don Lemon. Another report from Fox News about him getting arrested. I've got how Fox News handled his arrest, and then I'll play you how CNN handled his arrest.
The feds had gone to judges to try to get Don Lemon arrested before. They went to a magistrate judge in Minnesota who didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to a judge above him. He didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to an appeals court. They also decided not to sign off for an arrest warrant for him. So there was experts who were predicting that perhaps the feds would go to a grand jury. It remains to be seen if that's what happened here, but we can confirm that Don Lemon was arrested in Los Angeles by federal agents just after midnight Los Angeles time at a hotel. Now, typically, standard procedure with an arrest like this is the defendant will likely make their first court appearance sometime the same day. So there's a chance we may see Don Lemon make his first court appearance in Los Angeles sometime today. But obviously, this is going to grab all sorts of headlines. 3 other protesters from that church storming, have already been arrested, including who the feds say was the organizer of that protest. The woman in the middle there is a school board member in St. Paul, and then the mugshot on the right is an online personality / agitator, if you want to call him that. He's known as the Woke Farmer. Those were the 3 people that the feds had already arrested, but we have confirmed that Don Lemon has now been arrested in Los Angeles in connection with that viral incident. We all saw the video of it that spread and drew widespread condemnation. The feds have been going after these people on FACE Act violations. So this is still breaking news. Once we get more details about the potential charges here, a court appearance, we'll, of course, update our viewers, guys.
Really appreciate it. Of course, if it was a grand jury that did indict him, that's pretty unimpeachable. Bill Melugin.
Okay, that's Fox News. There's something else I want you all to think about, too. Trump, when he signed that, we're going to go after the funders who's been funding this. Remember that? He said, I may know some of them. I think of some of them I know. Could he have been talking about Ted Turner and Jane Fonda? Remember, Jane Fonda's married to Ted Turner. And how odd would it be that she pops up out of there and starts speaking up for Don Lemon? You think her name, her handle, or Ted Turner's handle might be one of the 100,000 names on the Stop ICE operation and the Snapchats, and they are helping fund? He's a billionaire. So he's another one on top of Soros. Ted Turner. Remember, people said that he was the one behind the Georgia Guidestones, right? So anyway, here's how CNN handled Lemon's arrest.
Breaking news now, just into our CNN newsroom. We are learning journalist, former colleague of ours, former CNN anchor, Don Lemon, has been taken into custody, arrested just days after a protest inside a Minneapolis church. Now, he has maintained that he was going in as a journalist to cover the protest. Let's get right to CNN's Kara Scannell, and CNN chief media analyst Brian Stelter is also here with us. Kara, what are you learning first about this arrest that we should note? A judge, a magistrate judge, had rejected the federal government's attempt to put him under arrest just 1 week or so ago.
Sarah, that's right. We had reported that earlier this week that the magistrate judge had rejected an attempt by DOJ to bring criminal charges against Don Lemon. What we have learned is that last night in Los Angeles, in the 11 o'clock hour, Don Lemon was arrested in the hotel lobby in Beverly Hills and taken into custody. Now, it is not clear at this time what he is charged with, or if he is charged in a criminal complaint, or if he is charged in an indictment which would have been returned by a grand jury. But it does appear to be connected to that because, as we reported earlier this week, the Attorney General Pam Bondi was livid that Lemon was not charged at the time. It appeared that they were going to continue to try to bring charges against him. And now we know that Lemon was arrested last night in Los Angeles, where he was in town to cover the Grammys. I do have a statement from his attorney, Abby Lowell, and it says in part, Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done. The First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role it is to shine light on the truth and hold those in power accountable. There is no more important time for people like Don to be doing this work. Instead of investigating the federal agents who killed 2 peaceful Minnesota protesters, the Trump Justice Department is devoting its time, attention, and resources to this arrest, and that is the real indictment of wrongdoing in this case. Now, we do expect Lemon to make an appearance in court today. That is usually the process that follows when someone is arrested, and then it will be up to the judge whether he gives him bail, which would be expected in this case. So we're likely to learn more details about exactly what he is charged with, what form he is charged in, and if this was returned by a grand jury. And then we'll see potentially Lemon later today, but he's being held and has been held overnight in Los Angeles unarrested on some charges that appear to be related to Minneapolis.
Yeah, they had to put out A.B. Lowell or Abby Lowell or whatever the hell his name is, talking about this noble journalistic profession. He's a hedonist, okay? And he barged into a house of worship, and he just helped disrupt a house of worship. So, yeah, they got divorced. Where did I see that? But they're ideological soulmates. Where did that go? Who put that there? You're right. They did get divorced, but they're ideological soulmates. And remember, who started CNN? Ted Turner started CNN. And right now you're seeing the whole network rallying behind a hedonist. Where'd it go? Now I saw it. I saw the chat mention that they got a divorce. No, I can't find it. Well, I got a bad eye. But anyway, yeah, I agree. But they're ideological soulmates, and this is the line in the sand. If Don Lemon doesn't end up going to jail, he's going to be. He went from a zero to a hero. Now everybody's talking about it. Okay, Kim. Yeah, he's going to go from a zero to a hero. And we can't allow that. We can't allow that. And I don't know what the hell is going on with the magistrate judge, and then they took it to a judge above the magistrate judge that didn't charge him, and then the appellate court didn't charge him. So we got to clean these judges out. We can't have state approval of this kind of behavior in churches. It's just that damn simple. So anyway, yeah, Brian Stelter is disgusting. But anyway, here is something Trump posted before the one there where Finnerty on Newsmax was talking about us being wrongly portrayed as a minority, wrongly portrayed as horrible people. This is Finnerty reporting, let me see here, on this is about the Fed. I'll get to that in a minute. Too late, Jerome Powell. Let me see what else Trump had up here. Agitator and perhaps insurrectionist Alex Pretty's stock has gone way down with a just-released video of him screaming and spitting in the face of a very calm and under-control ICE officer. Yeah, he was. And then crazily kicking in a new and very expensive government vehicle so hard and violent, in fact, that the taillight broke off in pieces. Not only that, it broke the body of the car, not just the taillight. It was quite a display of abuse and anger for all to see, crazed and out of control. The ICE officer was calm and cool. Not an easy thing to be under those circumstances. Make America great again. So anyway, back to this report by Finnerty. I think this is a more in-depth look at what's going on in Georgia. You know, and don't forget, I see in the chats Gary saying there's good things happening. Let's focus on the good things. I believe, and I said it a long time ago, Arizona is a sleeper. That's why we don't hear a lot about it. I think when a thunderbolt hits, it's going to be where they least expect it, and it's going to do maximum damage, because in Arizona we have evidence of cartel money. We have evidence of phony deeds recorded in the courthouse for properties that don't exist. We got evidence of deeds of trust that were used for money laundering. Don't forget, Colorado is where the Secret Service has an office in Castle Rock. Remember me saying that? Look out for the word Castle Rock. And the Secret Service is in charge of investigating and prosecuting international money laundering. So anyway, this is a report that Donald Trump wanted us to see. I'm going to go ahead and play it.
All right, welcome back. An update now to a story that we've been following for you for weeks. The FBI executing a search warrant at the Fulton County Elections Office where ballots are stored yesterday as part of a probe in the 2020 presidential election where Joe Biden got 81 million votes. And our next guest was there filming FBI agents loading boxes into trucks and confronting Fulton County Commissioner Dana Barrett, who's now running for Secretary of State in Georgia. This means if this woman wins, she'll be in charge of all future elections.
We went around Fulton County the last few weeks, and we see that people are currently registered to vote in places like empty lots, homeless shelters that closed 10 years ago. What would you do if you become Secretary of State to address that?
I'm not going to reply to conspiracy theories.
It's not conspiracy. It's a current. You can currently go on the voter rolls, purchase them for $45, and go there with us. We will gladly take you if you want to go to.
I appreciate what you're saying. I'm not going to respond to conspiracy theories.
One of the most important counties, I would say, in the United States.
I think what you're doing is extremely dangerous.
All right, the man behind those questions right there, independent journalist David Cate, back with us. David, good to have you back. I want to play you one more clip of you asking that same Commissioner Barrett another really basic question.
It took me $45 to purchase the voter rolls. You can do that as well for the Fulton County. You can see that people are registered to vote from empty lots. They're registered to vote at a MARTA bus station. Commissioner, if you're going to be running for Secretary of State, and that involves maintaining clean voter rolls in one of the most important counties, I would say, in the United States.
I think what you're doing is extremely dangerous.
Why is it dangerous?
Because you're spreading conspiracy theories.
It's not a conspiracy theory. Do you have $45? I'm not undermining. I'm not saying people are voting there.
Oh, yeah, it's all a conspiracy theory. David, why do you think these people are so adversarial whenever somebody asks them about elections in the state of Georgia? Why is that such a controversial issue?
Thanks, Rob, for having me back. It's good to be back. It's a good question, honestly, and that's what we've been trying to investigate the last few weeks. I had no idea who this lady was when she arrived to the scene, but the way she sounded when she arrived to the scene seemed like she was important. And I know that there's only one Republican on that committee that oversees the states or the county's commission. And of course, right away, I asked her, what are you going to do since you're running for Georgia's Secretary of State office? What are you going to do about the voter rolls? And the fact that she called me a conspiracy theorist right away is outrageous. All you have to do, as I said in that video, is purchase the voter rolls, and you can do the same thing. I actually offered to take her and show her, so she doesn't even have to spend the $45. Although I know she has it. She makes about $500 a week or a month in her elected role right there. But I have no idea why. We're still trying to figure out why Democrats especially act this way when you ask them such a simple question.
I don't get it, especially 6 years after the 2020 election. Why are they so defensive? The last time you were on, you told us about the thousands of people who are allegedly registered to vote all across Georgia in abandoned homes, UPS stores, churches, parking lots, under bridges. We reached out to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, and he gave us this statement, quote, as Secretary of State, I've made Georgia the best, most secure state for fair elections by using every available tool to keep our voter rolls accurate, including citizenship verification and systems that flag voters potentially registered at business addresses or mailbox stores. He's running for governor now. Do you agree with anything he said in that statement?
No, not at all. Maybe they're doing a good job making sure these people don't end up voting, although it seems through various FOIA requests that people have submitted that people do end up actually submitting election ballots, especially in the 2020 election from there. But our main issue, what we're trying to resolve here with the state, especially with the Secretary of State's office, is why is it so simple for me to go there and see for myself that obviously nobody lives there, but based on the Secretary of State's registration rolls, people are actively registered to vote from there. Why won't they just simply go investigate and purge? And why every time we bring this up to them, like we brought this up to the Secretary of State, why does he have to respond like this?
Yeah. He went on to
that Congress must, quote, update the national voter.
I'm just interrupting for a minute because they have got the physical ballots. The physical ballots. I saw a video where they said the imaging of the ballots was erased a long time ago. And I'm just spitballing. You think watermarks are going to have anything to do with what comes out of this? Watermarks? Do you think they're going to find evidence of ballots maybe being trucked in from other states, ballots that are watermarked to be sent to, say, Pennsylvania or other states where they were shifting them around? Do you think that there's going to be an analysis of the paper the ballots were made out of if they originated from a foreign country? Just keep those things in your mind on top of what they're talking about.
Voter Registration Act, as I've repeatedly called for, so that voters can be removed immediately once they're determined to be ineligible. It doesn't take Congress to do that, does it? We know that. Why can't he do that right now as Secretary of State?
It'd be great if you come on Newsmax, on your show perhaps, and actually answer these very simple questions, right?
Yeah,
the
we've
Secretary
invited him
of
on
State,
repeatedly. We've invited him on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that he keeps turning down all inquiries, especially after we brought this back into light. And I'm sure after the FBI raiding the Fulton County's election office yesterday, he seriously doesn't want to cover this at all or talk about this, especially as he's running for governor of Georgia. It's a very simple question, Secretary of State. Why are people actively registered to vote in places like empty lots? It's very simple to remove them, as you said, Rob.
Yeah, and again, forget about conspiracy theories. It's not about that. We bring it up because it should matter. Joe Biden beat Donald Trump by what? A little more than 11,000 votes in Georgia in 2020. This is clearly a state where every vote matters. These are questions that everybody should want definitive answers to. Here's another Fulton County official reacting to the FBI asking questions about who's registered to vote in Fulton County. Take a look.
This is an attempt to take your vote away. This is all about November 2026, about the primary on May 19th and then the November election. He does not want the midterm elections to take away his power, so he's trying to create chaos. So this is what he does. Chaos in Minnesota, chaos in Fulton County. We are a target. Protect your vote at all costs. I'm telling you, everybody always says your life depends on it. Oh, your life does depend on it this time.
Okay, and this is getting the attention of the White House. The president reposted our last segment together. He's aware of this. He's aware of what's going on. I think he wants answers, too. I think he's wanted answers for a long time. Again, do you have any sense as to why these people might be so defensive about this one single issue?
That's something that we're still trying to investigate. We're figuring it out, and it always revolves around money, but we don't want to make any claims, especially here, that we're not fully believe in yet. But we're definitely investigating that. But for the commissioner, again, open invitation to her and everybody that's an elected official in Georgia. Come around with us, see these places for yourself. We'll take you to lunch afterwards and we can discuss it. We just want you to be open-minded and see it for yourself. I wasn't open-minded until I saw these places, and now I'm trying to figure out why so many elected officials that have the power to do something about this are doing exactly what you constantly see them doing.
David, I'm in the exact same boat. I appreciate everything you're doing. I know a lot of people at home appreciate it as well. This is about answers to questions that shouldn't be so difficult to answer, and we look forward to having you back. David Kate, thank you.
Well, we got this guy on the case, whatever, David K. or whatever his name is. They didn't mention that company, and I don't know if I know I used to get in trouble for mentioning it. And if you know the name of the company, put it in the chats in a way that the algorithm will catch it. What was the name of that company where they would just take the trucks and take them in and have them counted? What was the name of that place? Oh gosh, End Run or something like that. Oh gosh, I can't think of it. I'm surprised they didn't bring that up, where they were counted outside of any supervision whatsoever, any poll watchers or anything. Run, and then, yeah, thanks, Todd, for putting it in weird. But I remember the name. It's Run and then Beck, right? Did I get it right, Todd? Run and then Beck. They didn't say a word about that. That was where a lot of the real fraud came through. Here's another nurse. Keep this in mind when you go, for your checkup. Isn't that a nice looking little nurse? She's such a sweetheart. Hang on, let me show you how big a sweetheart she is.
Your daily reminder to tell you if you support what's happening with ICE, you're a piece of shit.
I wouldn't let her take my temperature. Just a little reminder of what these people are made of. Let me see. Here's a report. The first openly gay judge. I knew I had a video about it. This is what I put on my thumbnail. That crazy woman. Oh, by the way, I want to thank Norm for going by Buy Me a Coffee this morning. That proves that my links in the chats work even after the live stream. I put a link for Buy Me a Coffee, and at the 137 mark, for anybody that wants to help support the channel, I really appreciate it. This is a totally viewer-supported channel. I'm not monetized by YouTube. That's why it's commercial-free. And this week, Mike and Bev helped out. Colette helped out. Todd, Pappy, Wayne, and Mr. Kennedy. So Norm stopped by this morning while he was having coffee and went by Buy Me a Coffee, and I appreciate it very much. So anyway, the first openly gay judge of Bexar County, Texas, was arrested for a felony, illegally handcuffing an attorney and locking him in a jury box. Oh, I thought it was a female judge. I mean, a female attorney. Huh. Well, here's the way they reported it. It is. I don't know if it's gay or trans or all of the above.
We start this evening with the Bexar County judge on the other side of the gavel.
Judge Rosie Speedland Gonzalez faces multiple charges tonight, including a second-degree felony. We just got her mugshot a few minutes ago. It's right here behind us. News 4's cameras caught the moment Speedland Gonzalez walked into a courtroom to be indicted. Tonight, there are questions about what happens next.
News 4 San Antonio's Phil Sterling has been following the story for us all day. He joins us live with the very latest on the charges. Phil.
Now, County Court at Law Judge Rosie Speedland Gonzalez arrived here to the Cadena Reeves Justice Center to show up to a courtroom only feet away from her own, just down the hall. This right here behind me is her courtroom. We got a copy right here of the indictment of all the charges that were read to her, although it did give limited information as to what happened. At a county court, at-law judge Rosie Speedland Gonzalez is in court, but not to preside over a case. She's here to be arraigned. She's been charged with
unlawful restraint by a peace officer.
Do you see that? Dressing like a man. I guarantee you, if it wasn't against what Trump's executive order was about on official documents, it has to be a man or a woman, I bet you they would say put pronouns on there, because she's dressing just like a man and walking like a man and probably talking like one too.
Officer or judge, a second-degree felony, and official oppression, a Class A misdemeanor. The Bexar County District Attorney filed a motion for recusal regarding the case, so a special prosecutor named Brian Cromines of Goliad County was appointed to handle the case. Meanwhile, we reached out to Speedland Gonzalez's office for comment and are still waiting on a response. What we do know is that she presides over the Refleo Court, a court specializing in reducing domestic violence by authorizing specialized supervision for offenders, like matching them with officers with small caseloads. But now, according to the Judicial Commission Online, when a judge is criminally charged, they're suspended without pay. The commission cannot reinstate them while charges are pending. The only question is whether that suspension stays unpaid. Now, the next time that we see her in court is not known, although we do know that her caseload is being offloaded onto other judges. Phil Sterling reporting live, News 4 San Antonio.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that person as my judge, because, you know, people can get mad at me if they want to. They're welcome to, but I can have my opinion. And my opinion is that person is suffering from a mental illness. A mental illness. And that's it. That's all. And I don't want people like that deciding my fate for anything. POTUS on Fed Chair nominee Kevin Warsh. He's very smart, very good, strong, and I think he's going to do good. I wanted to keep Kevin Hassett here. Kevin really has been fantastic at the White House. So, Trump is nominating somebody for the Fed chair. Jerome Powell, his term is running up in March. Is it March or May? But anyway, I wish he could fire him sooner, but there are senators saying, well, Jerome Powell should go through his legal troubles. We need a resolution to that before we approve anybody else. Just no, Jerome Powell's finished. But anyway, here's Trump.
I want to do the same thing. I think that, yeah, I've had times when I think you've had to really have rate hikes too. But he's very smart, very good, strong, young, pretty young, and I think he's going to do good. I mean, he was the central casting guy that people wanted. Kevin was great. I tell you what, I met numerous people. Every one of them were fantastic, really fantastic. I wanted to keep Kevin here, and I thought that I called Kevin 1, Kevin 2. And we have, I said, it's going to be a Kevin, but you know, Kevin really has been fantastic at the White House. You all know him. You know him very well. And so we have Kevin W. Are you concerned?
We are so close. If the Supreme Court, and I believe they will wholeheartedly, comes through with Trump on the tariffs, and we get somebody that is in there doing for interest rates for the United States exactly what Trump cut the deal with pharmaceutical medicine, that the United States gets the best deal. We get that on international rates, and this country is going to take off like a rocket. And the left know that. And foreign powers know that. We're talking trillions of dollars at stake. And it's hard to say who is coming up with what. As far, I'm worried about people's physical well-being, you know. Would they start a war to stop Donald Trump from achieving the goals that I just mentioned, along with election security to keep these radicals out of government? Of course. Of course they would start a war. So anyway, folks, let's see what I want to play here. I want to play this. Did you all get to see this yet? I wanted to play the intro, and I want your opinion on it. After it plays, please give me your opinion in the comments or the chats. I was thinking about playing this for an intro and then playing the one we enjoy watching about the retribution presidency. But anyway, folks, tell me what you think of this video in the chats and in the comments after the video, if you'd like to see it once in a while as an intro. And I want to say, once again, thank you for spending your precious time with me. I do appreciate it. And I will put another link in for Buy Me Coffee during the outro play if you all want to help the channel out. And I should be going live. If something big happens, I'll go live tomorrow night. Something big. That's what I'm waiting for. I think a big thing was happening. Sidney Powell coming out, okay? Among all the other stuff we talked about tonight, Cuba on the brink. I'd like to go to Cuba. I really would. But I wouldn't go there now. And I don't want to go there because I'm heading to Gitmo. But we shall see how it works out. If you're subscribed, you'll know when I go live. So why not subscribe? Anyway, folks, you all have a great night. And I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
Sometimes in history, there's this magic moment. Somebody appears on the scene and everything changes.
I am with you. We've never seen anything like this. I will fight for you.
This was a man who's met his destiny.
And I will win for you.
He said he was saved by God in order to make America great again.
His victory was the greatest comeback of all time.
You're watching history, so buckle up.
I don't think the American people have ever seen this before. A government that has moved this quickly and a president that has done so much when it comes to the border and energy and major investments from other countries. It's like warp speed.
47's on a hot streak, bringing head-snapping change to Washington, overwhelming the system with a volcanic eruption of action. Trump has a mandate from the people, and he's using it, and they're just getting started.
President Trump said on the campaign trail, success will be my retribution.
Despite the best efforts of those who would try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation that will always be free.
We're going to have one shot at this, and no other president's going to do what I'm doing.
America's back, common sense is back. He is keeping his promise to you, the American people.
Inflation is down, growth is up.
The numbers don't lie. The economy is soaring.
Lowest gas prices in 4 years. And record tariff revenue.
The USA is on a roll, culminating in the signing of the One Big Beautiful Bill on July 4th.
The Trump economic golden age is full steam ahead.
America is back, thanks to the courage of President Trump, thanks to the leadership of his amazing cabinet, and thanks, of course, to our brave men and women in the United States military.
This is a message to the rest of the world. The days of ripping off America and Americans are officially over.
Between the attacks on Iran's nuke site and the Maduro operation, the U.S. military recruitment at an all-time high.
This president will go down in history as a peacemaking president.
Peace through strength, America's in charge.
And he's just got one filter, and that is America first.
Whatever they're doing, it's working. Zero illegal crossing, drug cartels frustrated, less crime.
We have the most secure border in the history of this nation. If you think we're doing good now, you just wait till this coming year.
The president isn't taking his foot off the gas in 2026.
It's a new year. The stock markets are already making new record highs.
The Trump archive are a series of near impossible feats.
As for the next year, the American people have so much to look forward to. The president will continue to build off of his historic accomplishments.
2025 is setting the table. The banquet's going to be in 2026.
This is the golden age coming.
He says, make America great again because every American is invited.
My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun.